Haha, let's get this party started.
High def with the proof.
Greasy says.
Who that? It's me. Who that? Greasy. Who that? MC. Who that? UE. Who that? It's me. Who that? Greasy. Who that? Your mommy. What's up, crazy people? What's going on? How are you? I would love to invite you, to welcome you to another episode of Greasy Says. My name is Greasy, aka man, I can't get my words out today, y'all. I'm a mess. What is going on? I'm tongue-tied. I don't know what it is. I got this weird like pain in the roof of my mouth. You ever get that? It's not like a burn, but it's like almost like you got punched or you got like poked in the roof of your mouth. I wonder because I've been trying to teach my son how to brush his teeth. And what I'll do is, because he don't like to let me control the brush, he like to clamp down on his teeth real hard and just bite on the toothbrush and like squash it. That's how he brushes his teeth. Just crush the toothbrush with your jaws. So I'm like, okay, since he loves doing that so much and he loves just doing, you know, whatever I'm doing, whatever my wife's doing, I'm like, okay, so here's the plan. I'm going to brush his teeth while I let him brush my teeth. Seems like a good idea on paper. So I grab his little toothbrush and I'm like, okay, you could do Papa's. So he grabs my toothbrush and we're both trying to brush each other's teeth, except I'm doing all the work. I'm doing all the brushing and getting back there on the molars and whatnot and trying to get the inside of the incisors and whatnot. My boy, he just going for broke inside of my mouth, like with reckless abandon. So he might have poked me in the roof of my mouth with my own toothbrush and maybe that's why it's hurting. I don't know. But it got me kind of tongue-tied. I feel weird speaking. It's fucking strange. But anyway, welcome back to Greasy Says. This is my show about being a brown game developer for 16 years now. And some of the things I've observed, some of the tips I might be able to give people out there who are like me, who are a minority, trying to survive in the gaming industry. And this episode, I feel is special, particularly for brown folks, particularly for black folks, but, you know, for all developers in one sense or another. We'll get into details as we go. What's going on with me lately? So I've been catching up on a bunch of like movies and TV shows. I'm like way behind. First thing, throwback. I watched The Invincibles. Again, no, not The Invincibles. The Incredibles. Jesus, I'm getting old. The Incredibles, the first one, again, recently. And it looked fucking ancient. The lighting is like, you know, looked like 1994. The models, the animation, everything just looks so old compared to something like Encanto. You know what I mean? It's crazy. That didn't even seem that long ago, but watching The Incredibles again made me feel ancient. Because I'm like, man, back in the days, my brain was blown wide open by the look and the how amazing this movie looked. But now it looks like shit. Sorry. Don't watch The Incredibles again. The first one, if you don't want to feel old. If you over 37, don't watch The Incredibles again. It'll just fuck your whole day up. The other thing that I've been watching, which is legitimate flames, is The Mandalorian. I know I'm late as fuck to the party. I just started watching, I just finished watching the whole series. Flames. I fucking loved it. Wait, pause. I actually really, really loved the first season. And the second season was like, all right. I guess you got to do what you got to do. You got to pay those bills. Favreau, I get you. You got to wrap this thing up so you can go work on the next Marvel movie or whatever the fuck $1 million project you got, $1 billion project you got coming up. But that first season, where it felt like a Western, where, you know, there's a lot of mystery, The pacing is a little bit slower. There's like fewer characters in a scene. It's not a complex epic. It just really feels like a character show. All about the characters, all about what's unsaid. You know, long moments of silence, stuff like that. Building atmosphere. Love it.
Magnifico. Mwah.
Yo, and as jaded and as, you know, fucking not about anything cute that I am, like, I don't even like what a game dev look like because y'all looking too cute out here. It just annoys me. But Baby Yoda, I like Baby Yoda. What? I never thought I'd say those words. But Baby Yoda's cool in my opinion. Maybe it's because I'm a dad now and I get all soft. I'm like a big old softy. But Baby Yoda was cracking me up. The way he played with that little ball thing, that was hilarious to me. Hilarious, reminded me of my kid. But you know, I gotta tip my hat to Disney for knowing when to stop. You know what I mean? They did the thing. It was a strong showing, and then they just cut it off. Go find something else to watch. Keep it short. Keep it concise. Keep it clean. And keep it at a high quality bar. You don't need, just because your show is big, you don't need to keep making sequels until the fucking sun dies. Like fucking Ozark over here. Or like, I don't know, pick a sequel of any popular game that has way too many sequels. What, Call of Duty? You know what I mean? How many more we need? How many more do we need? Assassin's Creed? How many more do we need? Really? You know what I mean? It hit the peak at what? The first one? Oh, I just pissed off a bunch of Ezio fans, didn't I? I pissed off a bunch of Viking fans, didn't I? Yeah, I pissed off all the, what was the name of the girl in the one where you were swimming in the Thames? And you didn't get a case of gonorrhea? Yeah, pissing off y'all too. Yo, let me ask y'all, how y'all feel about whistlers? Yeah, I said that. I mean it. Like whistlers, people who whistle. I don't know, man. Whistlers kind of creep me out. I'm not saying you shouldn't whistle if you enjoy whistling and or if you're particularly talented at whistling. Have at it. But I'm going to just tell you, if you do it around me, I'm going to be a little, you know, the hair on my neck is going to stand up. I'm going to be a little weirded out by you. Whistlers creep me out, especially the like older dudes, like an older white guy who knows how to whistle really well and does all the vibrato and shit and like really makes a big scene about whistling at the maximum fucking volume while they like turn the soil over in their tomato garden or whatever the fuck, or working on their fucking Triumph motorcycle, whatever the fuck these white guys do. Yo, why y'all gotta be whistling? The whistling is too much. It's a little too extra with the whistling. You don't have to be doing the Ariana Grande thing with your whistling. You don't have to be Adele with the whistling. You don't have to be Whitney Houston with the whistling, okay? Yeah, you got a talent. You did it for a little bit too long. And now you're kind of stuck in your mold. I get it. But just bring down the volume a little bit. And don't do it, you know, when we all hanging out together. We're having a conversation or we're all taking a walk or some shit like that. You ain't got to start whistling. It's not cute. It's kind of weird. It creeps me out. That's just my PSA.
PSA.
Anyway, this is Greasy Says, y'all. Let's actually start the show. Real quick before we do that, though, remember you can reach out to me on social media. Hit me up, friend me, add me, subscribe to me, follow me, whatever you need to do on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook under the name Greasy Says. Or on Twitter under the name M_CUE. You can go find my music on Bandcamp, Spotify, Soundcloud. Jump on Spotify, give me more streams. I appreciate that. Go buy an album on Bandcamp if you really want to support and throw money at your dude. Yeah, that's all under the name M-Cue, M-CUE. And don't forget, it's still okay to send people you think would be interested in an episode, or send them like a clip from an episode or the shit I post to social media if you think it's funny, if you think it's poignant, if you think someone would appreciate it. Spread the word, man. I'm trying to grow this greasiness across the nation, across the world. So every little bit helps. So send your favorite episodes, your favorite clips of Greasy Says to your friends, to your enemies, whoever. All right? Let's pick a key and start the show.
Today's the key. Today's the key is. Today's the key. Today's the key is.
Who's got a question?
Hey, Greasy. Talk about burnout.
In the grand scheme of things, burnout is a relatively new concept in the professional world, at least in America. In America, people are programmed to work long hours. They're trained to never say no to overtime. They're taught that if they don't burn the candle at both ends, they'll never get that promotion or that raise or that recognition. It's gotten so bad that some folks choose not to take sick days even though they feel like crap for fear that their counterparts and bosses will view their sickness as weakness or laziness. You could see how that could set up for some pretty unhealthy behavior on the dev's part. In other parts of the world, taking breaks from work is so important it's built into their culture. In some countries, lunch is like 2 hours long, and it's totally normal for workers to go home to have lunch and even take a nap in the middle of their workday. It's also becoming more acceptable to not work a 40-hour work week, since people have learned that more time off usually means better time in. If you're rested as a worker, and you realize that your employer is invested in you feeling rested, you're more likely to put in that extra effort during the time that you're working, usually resulting in more efficiency. But even with these policies in place, humans who work burn out. Simple as that. And video game developers have a higher rate of burnout. Now, why is that?
Be like that, it just be like that. Can you tell me why it's gotta be like that? Be like that, it just be like that. Can you tell me why it's gotta be like that? Can you tell me that it just be like that? Can you tell me why it's gotta be like that? Be like that, it just be like that. Can you tell me why it's gotta be like that?
Maybe it's because the game dev industry is one that has promoted crunch policies for decades, and the repercussions of that will be felt for decades to come. Maybe it's because game devs have a harder time separating from their work, especially since most of our work happens in a computer or on a phone, making it very enticing and simply easier to engage with work when you're not at work. Maybe it's because game devs have no chill. Think about that. Either way, these behaviors compound burnout and make it easier to find yourself burnt out. I've experienced various forms of burnout. I've been burnt out on working on the same type of game for 6 years straight. That kind of burnout can leave you feeling depleted creatively, empty, sort of on autopilot through your workday. Nothing is particularly challenging, and nothing stirs up any creative juices. You're just going through the motions, getting to the next release. This burnout can feel like you're wearing cement shoes. You feel like you move slower, and you lose the desire to try anything new or try anything exciting. This type of burnout is a slow death.
Am I dead yet? Am I dead yet? Oh, God.
I've experienced burnout that comes from high levels of continued stress. The burnout that comes from pitching a game for 2 years, then developing it for another 2 years, the whole time justifying your existence and the existence of your game. Not just to publishers and executives, but to your own goddamn team. This type of burnout can make you feel isolated. It can make you feel like everyone is out to get you. It can make you feel like you need to justify every action, even in your personal life. It puts you on edge. It fills you with fear. It makes you question your self-worth. And it makes you wonder why you got yourself into this position in the first fucking place. This type of burnout is like being cooked alive. Then there's a unique burnout that only happens to black and brown folks and folks who aren't white. This burnout is a result of playing chameleon, changing the way you speak, trying to fit in, to be positive, constantly trying to see from other people's point of view while no one attempts to see it from yours. This burnout comes from years upon years of being subtly misunderstood, from being misinterpreted. This burnout comes from working in an environment where you don't see a lot of people like you, and you don't hear a lot of the stories that are relatable to you. This burnout comes from that uneasy, inexplicable feeling that no one really listens to what you say, that people brush off your opinions and ideas, and you can't help but feel that it has a little bit to do with race, or a lot. This burnout comes from realizing that fact, while everyone else refuses to even acknowledge it. This type of burnout is like being sent to the mental asylum. Not to mention that if you're going through this race-based burnout, you're likely going through some other forms of burnout as well. This is unique to non-white devs in a white dev world. This level of burnout is not often talked about between black and brown developers, at least in my history. I've heard fellow brown devs bring up these concerns and these feelings of being burnt out, and in the same sentence, I've heard them stuff those feelings down. It's not their fault. It's learned behavior from living in a racist world. But Uncle Greasy's here to tell you that you're not alone, and I'll always be here to have that conversation. If you find yourself as a dev burning out, if you feel that heat on the back of your neck, that feeling that turning in your stomach, that feeling of being so tired that you can't even rise out of bed, then I'd say it's time to slap yourself into some sense. Your body is the greatest indicator of burnout, and all you need to do is listen to it. Now, I know it's hard to take that time off when your team needs you, when there's a looming deadline, when you're getting pressure from your team or from your bosses to deliver. But how useful are you going to be when you snap at a team member or disengage completely from team activities and brainstorming because of how tired you are? How are you supposed to be a great dev when you don't even take the time to recharge that incredible mind of yours? And to my black and brown devs out there, how are you supposed to excel when that emotional and spiritual side of you is dying? How are you supposed to deal with being black in America and being black at your studio without time to heal, without time to recuperate? It's like expecting a soldier to fight on no sleep. You're going to lose that war. If you're a dev out there and you're feeling the burn, I'll offer this simple advice. Take the day. Take the day. Take the day whenever you feel like it. The game will be there tomorrow. The assholes who expect too much from you will be there tomorrow. And that's what sick days are for. Your mind needs time to recharge, to heal, to digest before it can solve, create, and inspire. Your mind is worth more than any game will ever be.
That was kind of a tongue twister, huh? Reflection.
I'll be real with y'all. I've experienced burnout. I think everyone who's been in games for any amount of time has. And I've had moments where it got out of control, where it was bad for my health. It was bad for not just mental health, but like physical health. I remember one time I was stressing so hard and just bottling it up. And I was burning out. You know what I mean? Like I was fed up with what I was doing. I was fed up with politics. I was fed up with answering the same fucking question 10 million times to a bunch of different fucking people in different ways so they would all understand it. Getting doubted all the time. I was angry. I was fucking angry. And one day I was in a meeting with two other leads on the project. And they brought up this issue and I like snapped. No shit. I was like yelling and shit. Like, what the fuck is all this? Like, what the fuck? Like freaking out. Because I hadn't taken the time to address my shit. You know what I mean? I didn't take the time to rejuvenate my brain, to give my brain time to rest, to just take a breath and realize that, you know, this is not everything. Making this fucking game with these people is not everything in life. It's not the most important thing in the world. You know what I mean? And I want to be here tomorrow, right? I want to be here next week. I want to be here next year. I want to be doing this shit for the rest of my life if I can. I snapped. I was cussing away everybody, man. I was. And it's all because I didn't take the time for myself to deal with my shit. And that's what I think a lot of burnout is about. I think it's just people out there thinking they could just work through these things that they're feeling and that they're just going to go away. Or they don't have to deal with personalities or like, you know, problem solve people. You know, build bridges and shit, fix disagreements, apologize, all this shit. It could lead to just this big buildup of emotion and stress, and you burn the fuck out. On the flip side, you could be one of those coder types. I know quite a few of y'all. Those coder types who don't stop. That motherfuckers will lock themselves in a room and code until their fucking fingers fall off. And, you know, I mean, yeah, you in that box there by yourself. You're not having to deal with people. That's kind of comforting, right? You know what's in there. You know what to expect. But you know, you're not giving your brain time to just chill, your eyes time to just chill. You know what I mean? You might jump off. Now I'm getting all kind of preachy and fatherly. You jump off of fucking looking at your monitor all day and then you go sit down and you watch TV. Where the fuck is the rest for your eyeballs? You gotta go outside and look at a tree or some regular shit. You know what I mean? Look at a couch, something physical in the world. You know what I mean? All this blue light in your eyes and shit. I'll burn out your fucking eyes and shit. You know what I mean? It's all connected. It's all connected. Like I was saying, your body will tell you. And if you don't listen, it's your ass. All right, I'll put it to you this way. Any of y'all out there do like martial arts or like, you know, train like that? Jiu-jitsu, Krav Maga, fucking whatever, Muay Thai, all that, judo. As an athlete, you know what I'm saying? I guess this goes for any athlete, but I'm thinking about it in the sense of martial arts. You go in and you train and you spar and you do all this shit and you get beat the fuck up and you get roughed up because you're rolling around with people you're doing combat. You're not trying to kill nobody, but you're doing combat. And your body takes a beating. And when you're done with that class or whatever, you have to take a break. You have to know how to take a break, to give your muscles time to recharge, to heal, to get stronger. And taking a break is a big part of getting stronger in martial arts. If I go and I fucking spar on Monday and then spar on Tuesday hard as fuck and then jump back in and spar hard on Wednesday, by Thursday, I'm going to be fucked up. Like I might get myself sick because my body hasn't had a chance to fucking chill. Now, some of y'all might say, well, you ain't training hard enough. I mean, like yourself, buddy, if that's what your life is like, cool, good for you. But I know for a fact that if you don't take a break, your body will start breaking down on you and you're going to get injured. Guarantee that. Hold on, let me take this.
Remember that game.
Burnout. Oh, yeah. Y'all know the one. Amazing, classic arcade style racer from the 2000s. Was it? When was that shit? When that shit come out? I'm going to guess. Like mid 2000s. Man, I remember playing that shit so hard in my dorm rooms, man, when that shit first came out. I think the one there was a moment when I brought home Burnout 3. All right? And I had a roommate at the time. They were not really into games. They were thirsty as fuck. Like this girl was looking for girls like you wouldn't even believe. So thirsty, man. Anytime I bring girls around, she'd be like trying to hang and shit. It was weird. It was a weird scenario, but I was, whatever. That doesn't matter. I brought that shit home and I played it with my roommate, my thirsty roommate. And she was having a ball. She never played no games. I had other people come through who don't play games, didn't give a fuck about games. All they cared about was music. And we would lose hours. Like folks would come by and be like, yo, you got the beats. Let's make a track. Let's do this. Boom, boom, boom. I'd be like, all right, let me just like play a little Burnout real quick. You want to play a little Burnout just to, get the vibe right? Fucking end of the night, we still playing Burnout. Burnout 3? Boy, let me tell you. That was when they first introduced, I don't know if it was the first time, but when I feel like they perfected the crash courses. The way you wouldn't be racing. You would just be racing towards an intersection to crash and smash into as many cars and buses and tractors and fucking anything around. Buildings, semis, the whole shit, blowing shit up. You would just try to rack up points by crashing. That to me was such a brilliant add to that game. So much so that the whole time we played that game, we never even raced. We didn't do a single race. Like racing was boring to us. We just be hitting the same intersection, trying to get over 100,000, trying to get 1 million points, trying to clip that one little VW bug that got away that one time. Fantastic game, fantastic way to just burn a bunch of time. Mindless fun. I miss games like that are just mindless fun. I don't even know where you would get something like that nowadays. I mean, I know Burnout. The last Burnout that I played on a console was Burnout Paradise, and that shit was amazing. And I think they stopped making Burnouts after that. Am I wrong? Reach out to me and tell me if I'm wrong. I think that company went on to make... Did they go on to make the game called Car Game or something? I gotta look it up. Hold up. Burnout developer. Whoops. It's funny, I searched for Burnout developer and it's just a bunch of articles about how not to burn out as a developer. I gotta try harder with my search queries. Yeah, so Burnout was made by Criterion, and man, there's a lot of information about this shit. Apparently, Burnout originally came from a skateboarding game. Like the idea for Burnout came from a skateboarding game that they had developed called Trick Style, which I have never fucking played. It was to show, they developed Burnout to show off their renderware game engine, which I guess was a unique proprietary game engine that they made this Trick Style game in. And yeah, there it says right there in black and white, Burnout 3 was highly successful with more than 2.3 million copies sold. Yeah, and it says here Paradise was the last one. I thought they moved on to make some other shit. I guess this is news to me, but apparently Criterion under EA launched a downloadable version of Burnout called Burnout Crash, which is a lot like that crash thing I was talking about, where you just drive towards an intersection and try to make a pileup as quickly as possible, the biggest pileup you could possibly make. What a sad end to Burnout that it would just end up as this like kind of one-off downloadable game that only featured a small section, arguably the most enjoyable section of Burnout. I really hope they remake it someday. I'm sure somebody will grab it and remake it someday. If they can make 1 million fucking Tomb Raiders and bring it to Unreal Engine 5 and remake Tomb Raider again, like, they can make another Burnout. Am I right? Come on. Burnout. Love you. I hope they make a remake. I hope not a remake. I want a brand new Burnout. Not a remake. Because they've remastered the Paradise version. They've probably remastered the other ones too. No. I want a real one. Get on it, Criterion. Let's see it. Although it does seem unlikely because after they finished the Burnout games, because those games were so perfect, they got pulled in to do all the Need for Speed games. Need for Speed Hot Pursuit, Most Wanted, Rivals. And then they made a complete 180 and started making Star Wars games and Battlefield games. So apparently they have an untitled Need for Speed game in development. We'll see how that goes, but Burnout might just be Need for Speed now. Man, the great consolidation continues, doesn't it? I told y'all. Well, Criterion, I want to personally thank you for Burnout. Respect and salute. There are no listener submissions or questions or anything this week. So, as usual, on Greasy Says, when we come down to the end of Greasy Says, we make time for a little bit of
Medicate Meditate.
This week, I wanna ask all the crazy people, who are we putting overtime for? Is it them or us? Is it them or us? Who are we living this life for? Is it them or us? Is it them or us? Who are we giving it all for? Is it them? I'm burning out. I'm burning out. I'm burning. Who's gonna save us from ourselves, huh? Will it be them or us? It probably won't be them. So it needs to be us. It needs to be us. Who are we making these games for? Yeah, it's them and us.
Yeah. Here we are at the end of the episode. Don't be bummed, because there's another one coming in 2 weeks. I'll be back. It's Greasy Says. Yo, Greasy people, thank you for listening to yet another episode. Thank you for sticking with me for I don't even know how many episodes, but we're almost halfway through the second season. Jesus Christ. Can you tell that I'm not over whatever the fuck I had? I swear I have like a new version of fucking COVID that no one knows about, no one cares about. It's the under the radar COVID. It's the seedy underbelly COVID. I just can't seem to get well. I don't know what the fucking deal is. Anyway, who cares about my problems? Greasy people, I want to tell you that I appreciate each and every one of you listening. You know what I mean? Stick around. If you have questions, reach out to me on social media. Greasy Says, that's on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Send me a video, send me an audio clip, send me pictures of your butt, send me texts about your butt, all that kind of stuff. And I'll talk about it on the show. Tell me what you're playing. Tell me stuff I should be playing. And yeah. Remember to tell people about Greasy Says, and remember to subscribe. Very important that you subscribe, because that makes me feel really good when I like post some shit, and then I see like, boom, is this many people have immediately downloaded it. That feels good. That feels cool. That's like getting the crowd like lining up to your show. It fucking feels great. So subscribe on whatever platform you listen on, so you can get Greasy Says right when it drops. You get me? Greasy people, thanks for coming out. Remember to like, subscribe, comment, give me feedback. Tell me to go fuck myself. But until next time, it's me, Greasy. And I'm checking out with the room key. Yeah, I'm checking out with the room key. What the fuck, you ain't got no room key.
Wow.
Cause I checked out with it.
Clearly.
Greatness.